So today, I was thinking about this 2-year anniversary. I was thinking about Fireside, and I attended a meet and greet for creators on Fireside last night. I was thinking about all the other stuff that's going on, all the movement that's happening, thinking about the elections, thinking about Ukraine, thinking about Black History Month, just all this stuff, right? All the things. And it really hit me. Um, the word that came to me that we've talked about before, but I think it's timely now, is preparation. Preparation. Being prepared to get what you ask for. So we talk a lot about alignment, and y'all know how I feel about manifesting. That's not my word. My word is not manifesting. People talk about manifesting all the time. That just it's me funny for some reason. Probably because that's just rebellion in my spirit. But I do believe, and that was in my meditation this morning. You pray for what you want, right? You really ask for what you want, whatever your faith journey is, whatever your faith practice is. You really ask for what you want, believing that you'll receive it. So then you can't get surprised when you get it. And if you really believe you're going to have it, then you get prepared to receive it. And I think often for many of us, right, we ask for what we want. We may even believe we're going to get it, right? It really is what we want. It's the desires of our heart. But then when we get it, we start questioning, is that real? Is that really? And y'all know me, you got to burn a bush for me, right? God has got to burn a bush. I don't read signs. He's got to tell me, Laurel, this is what I want you to do. Because I need assistance. And yet, if you pay attention, right? And so through years of being very, very self-aware, I've always been self-aware, but years of being self-aware, years of therapy, years of personal work, right? Deep work. It is much easier for me now to really look at what's happening around and connect dots. Because that's what I do for everybody else, right? It's really hard. It's like physician heal thyself. I can connect dots for other people all the time. It is one of my gifts that I know. I can see and connect dots that other people can't see and much less connect. They didn't even know the dots were there. And so I began to be able to do that in my own life, right? Here's what I said I wanted. Oh my gosh, this wasn't what I expected, but it sure is connected to what I said I wanted. It doesn't look the way I thought it was going to look, but it is absolutely the thing. And so when I was on this call with Fireside last night, and it's a meet and greet for the creators on the site where they talk about the platform and they talk about, how you set up your show and you get to see what other people are using. And I mean, it's a really cool thing that they do for creators. And one of the things the woman said who was moderating it, she said, the people who develop this platform are serious. These are shows. This is not just rooms. And you have to be careful, right? Because there was a little Clubhouse versus Fireside stuff going on. But her point was, these are real shows. You want to get prepared. And she said, come on, knowing that it's a show. Be who you are, right? Whatever that is, be who you are, but be prepared. Be humble. Be willing to learn, right? Because this is a platform that they intend to be around for a while, that it'll be a launching pad for many things. And so as these initial creators, we have a unique opportunity, right? A unique opportunity to be in kind of on, quote unquote, the ground floor of this platform. And to really create things that are engaging, to create things that make a difference, that impact people, that serve. And so as I was listening to her, and there were some other things she talked about in terms of what you do on your show and things like that, that we'll have to see how they play out because of the whole, Rogan situation on Spotify. I think they're really trying to avoid that they're not planning on censoring people, but they are really paying attention to the space and making sure that they're creating safe spaces for people to show up and for people to be. So it's going to be an interesting balance to see over time. But trust, but verify, right? So we're going to trust until we've been told we can't. So, as she was saying, get prepared, be ready, be humble. Here's how the platform works. What I thought about was this. As you are moving through your career, as you are beginning to lead more people, as you're beginning to move into different spaces, preparation is key. Sometimes that preparation is just attitude, but sometimes that preparation is technical. Now that doesn't mean you have to be perfect, right? Because there are things you need to balance, because you can perfection is an impossible thing to attain. But you can be as well prepared as possible. As well prepared as possible. So when you do get the thing that you said you wanted, you are ready to seize upon the opportunity, right? Because luck is when preparation meets opportunity. I think Oprah said that. I can't remember. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So you've asked for this thing, you've prayed for this thing, you've believed for this thing, you've manifested this thing, and then it occurs and you don't know what to do with it, or you say no. And so when you're really moving into spaces where you are supposed to be, when you're really following your purpose, when you're really beginning to be a leader, and especially thinking about leading in terms of service, being a servant leader, it is going to be uncomfortable. When you're starting to push those boundaries, it is going to be uncomfortable. And so that preparation can be a little bit harder. And you have to be willing to be imperfect. You have to be willing to be a lifelong learner, right? Some of the best leaders I've ever worked for are leaders who don't have a hard time or don't have any problem saying, you know what, I don't know. I don't know. Because you can't know everything. Sorry, I got the hiccup. You can't know everything. It's not possible to know everything. And it's okay to say, I don't know. And there's power in saying, I don't know. And not only that, if you take it the next step and say, here's what I'm trying to do. Here's the overall goal as a leader. Here's what my team is charged with. Here's what my organization, my company, my nonprofit, my whatever is charged with doing. Here's what I know to do, right? I know how to set strategy. I know how to make certain things happen, but here's what I don't know. True leaders, prepared leaders, great leaders bring people on their teams that fill in the gaps. They don't get scared that somebody knows more than them. They don't get scared that somebody knows something they don't know. They don't get afraid of being shown up, because part of, as you get to a leader, part of your success is having built amazing teams. That's what leaders do. Leaders lift people up. Leaders build leaders. Leaders build their successors. That, as that old saying is, what got you here won't get you there. All that tactical detail stuff you knew as you were coming up through your career, you were coming up as a new leader, that's great, but that's not going to get you to CEO. That's not going to get you to VP. That's not going to get you to whatever level that is that you want, if it is about leading people. Because that technical, tactical stuff, you're hiring people to do that. That's a part of someone else's growth path now. You got to get out of that. And that is some of the hardest thing as people begin to grow, because there is comfort in the detail. There's comfort in the stuff we already know. There is discomfort when we have to do something we don't know, or hire people around us who know more than we. Good morning, Tisa. But there's power in acknowledging that and being able to move forward. And yes, it is voting day. I got my sticker. I voted. So it is important. It is important that you really get prepared for whatever that thing is you said you wanted. That's why I always talk about alignment. You got to know who you are and where you are. You got to know that. And part of knowing who you are is knowing what you're really good at, knowing what drives you, knowing what gives you joy, and knowing what is not your zone of genius. Because when you know that, you can spend your time and your resources, including money, in the right places. You can spend your time and your money and your energy in the places that either help you learn something that you need to know or build something that you need to build. You know, we have this thing in HR when you're talking about human resources. Build, buy, borrow, bind, and bounce. Build, buy, borrow, bind, and bounce. Building talent inside, learning, right? Training, developing, building, buying, hiring people, right? We're going to go out and have to get people in here who can do this. Borrowing, contingent labor, right? Consultants. You're just going to stay for a period of time. Bind, that's about retention. How do we get people that are part of my organization, part of my team, even if I'm in a bigger organization? How do I get people, how do I make my team sticky so people want to stay and work with me and for me, right? And then bounce. Sometimes it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And sometimes that's just a fit issue. It's not a take on somebody's character. It's not saying somebody's a bad person. It just means it's no longer a fit. And you may have to have those conversations about, is it somebody who can't or is it somebody who won't? If it's a won't, that's a whole different conversation than a can't. Because a can't, at least you have a few more things you can do to see if you can get it to a can. If it's a won't, that's a different discussion. You'll probably need to part ways sooner rather than later, because that becomes a problem for the rest of your organization, right? People see that. They see that and they feel it. And that becomes a reflection on you as a leader. So for you to be able to do the things you want to do, you have to be willing to be prepared. You have to be willing to take the effort to prepare yourself to execute what you say you want to execute. You also have to be mindful of your words. You know, Jerry and I were talking before the show started, because it is election day in Texas. We are the first with the big statewide primaries, right? I think there's one other state that's doing some statewide primaries, but we're one of the first. And I've been listening to all these commercials, and words matter. Words matter. And what has struck me during this season, and at least 4 years before this season, is how we have taken words and turned them into weapons. And we utilize the words not to convey messages, but to stir up sentiment. It's an impressive tactic, right? It is useful in marketing. It is useful in garnering support. It's useful. You know, it is a tactic that is used to have words to stir up emotion in people. That's like marketing 101. The problem is the usage has become pretty nefarious and pretty egregious. The words are being used intentionally to incite specific behavior around fear, separation, denial of personhood, you know, all of these kind of things. They're being used on purpose to create division. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. These words are being used intentionally, not for their purpose, not to improve dialogue, right? Not to create conversations, but to divide. That's what is being done. That's what's being done. Is that Pete?
That's Pete.
Our lovely Pete riding down the street with his boombox. That's what happens when you're live on radio and you got the windows on the corner of Alameda and Wichita. So that alignment and what you're doing is so important, because the way you use words, where you put words, how you use words, how you go out and talk to people, what you're putting out from a marketing, especially if you are an actual marketing person, digital marketing, you are your brand. What words are you using? So when we're hearing people talk about, you know, this person is woke and they're they're indoctrinating our children, that is inciting fear. Mm-hmm. That's what that is. That is inciting fear. No one's trying to indoctrinate anybody. Unless you are creating a cult, you're not trying to indoctrinate anybody. But what we've done is we've taken this amazing language with all of these incredible words, and we are now using them as weapons. We're using them as weapons to hold on to or shift power, in most cases to try to hold on to power. So as leaders, you've got to really be mindful of the words you're using. And do those words align with who you are? who you say you are, right? And who you really are. Because people will listen to what you say, but they will believe what you do. So if you're using all these words, but your actions are saying something different, your actions are what speak. You know, we are all supporting our global family. I say all. Most of the world is supporting our global family in Ukraine. And when I look at that whole situation, I'm like, nope, everybody knew what was really going to happen. The person has shown you who they are. Maya Angelou, people will reveal themselves, will show you who they are. You know, they will reveal themselves to you early. Believe them the first time. Nobody thought this wasn't going to happen. Nobody. But listen to the rhetoric around it, right? Inflaming, just inciting people to be fearful. This isn't going to happen, right? That was a lie. You as a leader, what are you doing? What are you saying? Are you going back and saying, oh, that's not what I meant? Are you, what do they call it, mansplaining things? When someone comes to you and says, here was the situation, here's what I heard, and here's how that meant. You just took it the wrong way. That's not what they meant. Are you negating everyone else's experience because you haven't lived it? So if you haven't lived it, it can't be true. Or because you don't know how to deal with it, or because you have so little respect for that person that you just really don't care, so you're going to dismiss them. Your words connected to your actions tell people who you are. They tell you if you are a person of your word or not. When you're listening to all of these things, and especially during political season, you guys, and it's just going to get worse as we go into November. It's going to get worse. Be discerning. Be discerning. When you are at your company, be discerning. What is the company saying? What is your manager saying to you? Have you set really clear expectations, and have they set really clear expectations with you? Have you guys had a conversation that is clear? It is not unkind to be clear. Have you had a conversation that is clear? And then are the actions supporting the conversation that you had? And if not, is that you or is that them? That's what preparation is about. Getting really clear on who you are and where you are, and then acting accordingly. And owning your actions. Owning your words, because words once spoken can't be retracted. You can say, I'm sorry, you can apologize for them, but you can't really take them back because they're out there in the universe now. And when you say those things in anger in particular, that's usually generally how you really feel. It's only when we're calm when we can kind of manage the words that we say. We can manage what comes out of our mouths. But when we're not, that's when things happen that are just really insane. And so today, you know, thinking about kind of this 2-year anniversary, this show on Fireside, thinking about all of you and the things that I've been seeing lately with people, you know, announcing these incredible opportunities, right? The new jobs, the new roles, because as crazy as it is right now, it's a great time to move. If you've been wanting to move, it's a great time to get really prepared to move. And seeing all the announcements of folks moving into their dream roles. And that's what they're saying, right? Found my dream job. Be prepared, right? These folks were looking for something. They went out and took empowered action. And I'm believing that they prepared themselves to seize the opportunity when it came along. Because sometimes that's what happens. The opportunity is ready, but we're not. So we either miss it, right? Because we don't see it at all, or we're so ill prepared that we couldn't seize it even if we wanted to. Even if we do recognize it, we're not ready. Sometimes that's fear, but sometimes that is truly, we just dropped the ball and didn't prepare. And so be honest with yourself about what's going on and why. Are you ready for that thing? Is that thing you said you wanted, is it really what you want? Because you got to be honest about what it's going to take to do that. When I think about Fireside and how it showed up, I mean, it's all, y'all, it all just works, right? I wanted to be more visible. Jerry showed up, right? This show happened. The podcast started happening more. Fireside showed up, right? And it all started with an intention to be more visible, to get a message out, to serve through these kind of platforms. And then being prepared. I would not be prepared to be able to do Fireside had Jerry not seen something in our first meeting, and had I not had the courage to finally say yes. Because I said no at first. I told y'all. I was like, nah, let me think about it. But the messages, right? Laurel, this is what you said you wanted. Here's how it showed. It may not have showed up how you thought it was, but it showed up. What are you going to do? When that promotion shows up, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Are you ready? You journal, you vision board, you put your words up, you do all of that kind of stuff. And then when it shows up, you're like, oh, wait. Get prepared. Get prepared. There is so much opportunity, right? That scarcity mindset is a dream killer. There is so much opportunity. There are billions and billions of people in the world. Yours may not show up tomorrow, but if you are really mindful and you are really determined, it will show up. Are you going to be ready? And are you willing to stay ready? To stay open to the additional information that is going to come your way in that new season? I'm going to learn so much. I mean, because I'm excited. I'm really concerned. Not concerned. That's not the right word. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. And actually, the meeting last night made me even more nervous because she's like, yeah, they're sitting in the clubhouse room. This is a show. This is a show. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? What do you mean it's a show? But then I have people around me who are like, but Laurel, you've been doing the show.
Mm-hmm.
What's the problem? You've been doing the show. Right? Because I wasn't ready. But I really was.
Mm-hmm.
That's mindset. Everything that has happened to you up to this point has prepared you for that thing you said you wanted. If you pay attention, if you are aware, if you are mindful, and if you're willing to continue the journey for that preparation. You know, Jerry, you've been talking a lot about preparation lately. I think you even posted this morning about being prepared.
Yeah, and when you talked about that, when you said, I saw something in you to put you on the air, he's been talking to me about making sure you recognize escorts, because when you get ready to go into a new place, God will send you, like you say, God wings, but he'll send you assistants.
Yes.
He'll send you people who's already gone that way.
Right.
To help get you acclimated into going that way as well. And sometimes we overlook that, and we don't find that we need preparation to go into that door. And we've got to connect with people who's already gone through that door. So I'm loving this conversation because a lot of people overlook that and they miss their part. They just want to jump in the door.
Right.
And then if you don't know what you're doing, then you can't get to the next opportunity.
Right. Not only if you don't know what you're doing, but if you're not willing to acknowledge that you don't know what you're doing and then do something about it.
Yeah. Do something about it.
If you're not willing to close the gap. And look, don't get me wrong. There are some times when you just don't have the energy or the wherewithal or the time to close the gap. Just know that's not your season. Don't beat yourself up. Sometimes that's just what life is, right? It's not the time. It's not the time. But know that, acknowledge it, and get ready for the next time. Be willing to do what it takes to prepare for the next time. Because maybe that time was just that notice to you to say, get ready. Get ready, because this is what it's going to look like. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to look like a podcast. It's going to look like a radio show. It's going to look like a digital show on a new platform. It's going to look like opportunities to MC and facilitate paid opportunities to facilitate. Good morning, Mom. Thank you, Mama.
Yeah, she been worried, Mama.
I've been worried. I tried to call you.
Yeah, where you been?
I'll call you after the show. Yeah, Jerry said, where you been? So, she was she early voted. Okay, good. So, it is important that you think about how these things will show up, because they will show up if you're paying attention, but they don't always look like the way you did it. Because we often try to make it what we want it to be, instead of digging deep and saying, what is it that I really want? So for those of you who are, in a career and building your career right now, I'm having lots of conversations with people about career at this moment. Lots of people. And the question I always ask them is, what is it that you really are desiring? When you get ready to have a conversation with someone about a promotion, about more money, about a different role, about whatever it is, what is it that you really want? Is it the promotion you want? Is it the money you want? Is it the kind of work you want? What is the root of what you want? Because when you enter into a negotiation, you've got to understand what your deal breakers are. What are you really going after? Because as an HR person, when someone comes to me and they're talking about, I just don't get paid enough and this is what I think I deserve and blah, 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 blah. I take that, I put it in a little bubble and I set it aside. Because see, I can fix money. I can fix money all day long. That's just a number. Tell me what's really going on. You don't have the same opportunity. You're not getting the visibility you want. It's not the kind of projects you want to work on. The list can go on and on and on, but because it started with money, all that other stuff gets clouded. So I tell leaders all the time, if someone comes to you and the first thing they're talking about is money, I need you to hear that, acknowledge it, and then ask the deeper questions. And in some cases, there is someone who has really clearly thought out, no. Here is how I've connected what I'm asking to what this thing is, right? I've done this preparation. I have given this kind of work and I have made this impact. I'm delivering this kind of value. And based on that, I believe this is what it is worth. And sidebar, because I'm having this conversation with a lot of people too. We talked about this on the radio show, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. I really want us to manage those words, that phrase of saying, pay me what I'm worth. Hear what I said? Pay me what I'm worth. Or I want to get paid what I'm worth. No, you don't. Because no one can pay you what you are worth. What you want is to be paid for the value of the experience and expertise that you bring. That's different. Because if you're tying your worth to your pay, that is a slippery slope. Don't do that. Work on that. All right. That's a little free coaching. Work on that. You don't want to be paid what you are worth. You want to be paid the value of your expertise, the value of your experience, the value of the performance that you have delivered, which added value to the organization or the team or the project or whatever. That's what you want to get paid for. Because that then acknowledges that experience and expertise, et cetera. Good morning, Mama Young. That's what you want to be paid for, right? So as leaders, we've got to really think about, what is it that we are asking? When a team member comes to us and says, here's what we want, dig deeper. Then you got to do that for yourself. When I'm doing my vision board and I am writing my words and I'm doing what am I really wanting to do? Because when it shows up, am I going to be able to respond? Not only able, am I going to be willing to respond? Am I going to be discerning enough to know, ooh, yeah, that's it. It just showed up and looks different. Or that's what I thought I wanted, but it's really not. I thought I wanted to be a CPA, an accountant. Mm-mm. Now, my accounting degree ended up being something that was a huge bonus for me, especially in HR, because I can speak the business of language, which most HR people don't do well. They don't think about the numbers because they love people. No, right? So it wasn't that I wanted to be a CPA. And then I thought, oh, but I want to be in logistics. I love the way things move. I love the way processes move. That is true. That is absolutely true. But that really wasn't it either. I am now doing exactly what it is that I always didn't know I wanted to do. Right? I'm getting to spend time with you guys. I'm getting to talk to people. I'm getting to engage. I'm getting to manage my energy because I'm working for me. Because y'all, I've got professional energy, but I need to re-energize by myself. So it has manifested in this thing that when I really pause and I look back, this is what I envisioned for years. For years, even when I was very young. I remember when I first moved back home, I started going to some things with my dad in the community, and I ended up moving away. And so I didn't get a chance to do a lot of that with him. But I started doing some things in the community with him, and I loved it. I loved it being out there. I did now. Well, let me put a caveat on that. I love being out there with him, and I can engage and I can talk and I can network. I don't like the chit chat. Chit chat is hard for me. It's really hard for me because I don't like useless chit chat. But that understanding of connection to engage and learning that right from him was really powerful. And so I have pictured this, what I'm doing now. I have pictured it for years. For years. I just didn't know that, right? I took detours along the way. And now in hindsight, I can tell they were detours, not derailers. They were detours. And they were detours I needed to take because I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now had I not taken them. I would not be able to do what I'm doing now had I not taken those detours. So I encourage all of you, when something takes you off the path that you think you're on or the path you want to be on, before you get upset, before you beat yourself up, before you get mad at somebody, pause. Practice the pause because there's power in the pause. Practice the pause and evaluate, what is my ultimate goal? And is this really taking me completely off the path, or is it just giving me an opportunity to learn something else that might come in handy? My guess is many times it's the latter. And you just didn't know it because we can't know everything. But the messages we need will show up when we're ready to hear them. The opportunities will show up when we're ready to seize them. And let me clarify that. The opportunities will show up when we're ready to seize them. Seize them doesn't necessarily mean that is your time to take that opportunity. Seize them may mean, oop, now I see what that looks like. Now I got to get prepared. I see what that looks like. Now I got to get prepared. That's also a manner of seizing an opportunity. You saw it, you internalized it, you got some real information and clarity around what it looks like, and now you know what you need to do. So when it pops up again, because it will, you're going to be ready to say yes. That's also seizing an opportunity. But if we are not really clear and aligned, if we are not paying attention to the gifts that we have, and it's funny how all this aligns, right? Because Joyce Meyer this morning was talking about gifts, that we often don't use our gifts, that we let them kind of waste away. And we don't use our gifts and our talents because it's not what we thought they should be, right? We have a hard time acknowledging them because someone else told us what they should be. I talk about that a lot in the Empowered Action Academy group coaching, right? What is the thing that's your thing, not somebody else's thing? Getting away from those supposed to's. Supposed to, because who said? This is really important for those of you who have kids and kids are in school that are dealing with guidance counselors. Be mindful. Listen. There are a lot of guidance counselors that'll tell kids, yeah, I know you want to go to Harvard, but I think you probably need to tap that down a little bit. Why? And this is not slamming guidance counselors, right? Because there are some exceptional guidance counselors. Many of them also have 400 million kids they're trying to do. There's no way that they're going to know everything about every kid. It's not possible. And then they're tired, right? Pay attention. And watch your words too. Are you telling your kids they have to do something? There was an article I read not too long ago. This woman, she happened to be Nigerian. And she's like, you know what? And when you grow up in Nigeria, your options are doctor or lawyer. That's it. You got to do one of those two things. And if you're not doing one of those two things, what are you doing? Right? She said, just culturally, that's what you do. That's what you do. And so you put these expectations on people, right? That may or may not make sense for them, for their aptitudes, for their skills, for their desires. If you're telling somebody, or if somebody's saying, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer. Oh, I hate math. Well, then you might want to rethink medicine or engineering. What is it that you really like? When you say medicine or engineering, what is it that you like about it? Right? I always said I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to go to med school and I wanted to be a doctor. What I want is a doctorate. I don't necessarily want to be an MD. Maybe a psychiatrist, right? Because that's an MD, right? But an EDD, a PhD, it's still a doctor. but it's not necessarily the medical doctor that I thought is what I wanted. I mean, I was like trying to graduate school early. I was ready. But then I realized, no, that's really not it. Then I thought I wanted to be a physicist and got into a physics class. I was like, no, that's not it. But what it did tell me along the way was I love solving problems. I love processes. I love knowing how things work, right? That book, The Goal, is like, I love that book. Where do bottlenecks move? Just how things work. I love all of that stuff. It's called The Goal by Goldratt. Is the last Goldratt. It's really old. I read it in undergrad, I think. But it's called The Goal. It talks about manufacturing and bottlenecks and how processes move. And I realized that's really what it is. Even when I work with my clients, right? Whether it's individual coaching or whether I'm working with organizations and doing some leadership training for them, it's about processes. How are you thinking? How are you showing up authentically? How are you making sure you are operating in truth? Because people will listen to what you say. They will believe what you do. How are you showing up? And all of that is about processes. All of that is about processes. All of that is about honesty and integrity and balance. There's a reason I call the show The Relish Perspective. Because it is about perspective. Everybody's got one. I'm not talking about opinion. Everybody's got a perspective that is based on their experience and their exposure. And how do you know what yours is if you had never seen or heard or experienced anyone else's? That's part of the problem we have today, I think, is that people don't really listen to everybody else's perspective. Because there's always some kind of little nugget you can learn. And as I said, even if you still disagree, you've at least bolstered your argument against it. Because now you know where they're coming from. It's a win-win. If your perspective is broadened or you've strengthened it, it's a win-win when you're listening to someone else, listening actively to someone else. But you have to be willing to be prepared. Prepared to listen, prepared to adjust, prepared to be honest about your pluses and minuses, prepared to be honest about your gaps, prepared to have people who know more than you work for you or with you, prepared for somebody to come in after you to that same company making more money than you, that you have to train. Welcome to the real world, people. You don't have to like it, but you also don't have to let it derail your attitude, because your attitude impacts your altitude. I don't know who said that. Was that Jesse Jackson or somebody? Your attitude impacts your altitude. And you have control of your attitude. You have a choice. And again, pot kettle. There are times when my attitude needs some adjustment, some serious adjustment, especially when I see people who are just lying or misusing the facts or using words to stir up fear and all that. That makes me crazy. And I'm not necessarily the kindest person when I respond to that. But I know that and I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But I want you guys to really work on, how do I make sure that in everything that I do, that I am prepared for that opportunity that's going to come my way that I said I wanted. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And how do I seize that opportunity, whether that's seize it for learning for next time or seize it for just jumping in? Because I know I'm jumping in. I'm just jumping in. Y'all, I'm jumping in. I'm jumping in with both feet. We'll see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? They come back and say, oops, sorry. You're not quite what we wanted on Fireside. Okay, well, love you, mean it. But I learned something, right? I posted not too long ago. Yeah, that sucked, but what'd you learn? Mm-hmm. What did you learn? Because there is learning in everything. There's learning in everything. I mean, just sitting here, Jerry told me, I mean, this was months ago, maybe last year sometime. She's like, yeah, I noticed when you started standing up to do your show. I didn't even think about it. Jerry always stood up. And then now part of it was like, well, if you stand up, they can't see like all the stuff you don't want people to see. That was part of it, right? If I'm really honest, that was a big part of it. Like, let me slim down if I stand up, right? But the other part was you do breathe better. You move better, you think better.
And you have control.
You have control. You have control, right? So you never know when you're going to learn something and your behavior is going to be modified, even without you knowing it. That's why you also got to pay attention to what you let get in. What do you let get in? I still have a hard time and try not to watch the news first thing in the morning. But I also know I'm going to be on this show with you guys. I know I'm going to be posting. I know I'm going to have a news show. I know I'm going to be doing a podcast. I can't operate in ignorance. Well, I can. I shouldn't operate in ignorance. And operating in ignorance is not how I want to show up. That's out of integrity for me. But that means I have to stay up and pay attention to what's going on. That doesn't mean I don't get to protect myself. That doesn't mean I don't get to choose when and how I let that information in. But it is not in integrity to just put my head in the sand. That doesn't work. That doesn't work, right? You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. Are they having a hard time? Yeah. Okay. You got to be prepared. So, happy anniversary to me. Woo-woo. Woo-woo. Happy anniversary to y'all, because I'm opening up my calendar, right? So for some one-on-one, I never do that. So I'm opening up my calendar up to 12 people. So for the next 2 weeks, you can schedule a 15-minute call, and then we'll schedule your session at whatever time. But for the next 2 weeks, there's time for you to schedule a quick call with me. Thank you, Jenny. A quick call with me to see if it's the right time and if I'm your person. And again, I am not offended if I'm not your person, because I probably know somebody who is. So, because this is about me being able to serve you. So if you are ready to take that time, if you're ready to make that investment in yourself, right? Time, resources, and yes, money, then reach out. It is 2 hours. I never do 2 hours individually, but it is 2 hours one-on-one to address whatever thing that's coming up to you around alignment, clarity, vision, whatever the thing is. I'm just blown away by your responsiveness, blown away by the folks that keep coming every week. I'm blown away, and I'm so grateful and so humbled. And I just, and I want you guys to be prepared, because I know that I would not be here now and moving into this year 5 of my business finally clear on what I wanted to do, because I too was doing what everyone else told me I was supposed to be doing, because that's the skill that they saw, not the skill that God saw. Okay. So now it was good stuff, and it's gotten me where I am, but that's not where I was supposed to be. I am now living in this purpose. I am exactly where I need to be. Took 5 years, and I'm not the most patient person. I'm working on that. Patience is not my superpower.
Well, I like that you're not ashamed to say that, because I was talking to Attorney Ben Hall the other day, and he was saying, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I said, you know what? I believe that just now I'm getting into my niche, into my flow. I've been out here a long time, and it would appear that you know exactly where you want to go, but things change and things shift, and you know when you're in your set spot that you're going to even grow even greater than that. Absolutely. And so most people don't want to say that. Yeah. They think, well, I should have had it all together by now. No, because we're still growing every day.
Every day that you have another day is an opportunity to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And so this year, I know this is where it's supposed to be, which is why I'm opening my calendar for people, right? You guys are also going to see I'm building a community where I'll just have office hours. So if you want to become a member of that community, I will have a couple of hours every month that'll just be open office hours. Come chat with Laurel, right? So there's some things that are coming that are dead center of where I'm supposed to be now, right? Serving, being there for you, being a place that is a safe space with no judgment. I'm going to hold you accountable, but who am I to judge? I want to help you get where you want to be, using my expertise and my experience to do that in whatever way I can, right? So get on my calendar, right? It's posted on all of my social. So there's a link. I post one out this morning. So set that quick call. Let's see if this makes sense for you. Get ready for the Clarify Your Vision Masterclass on the 16th. Get ready to show up for my Fireside on Thursday. I'm really excited about it. You're gonna love these women, because we're talking about Odessa. We're talking about growing up. We're talking about how we were so excited to get store-bought cake for our birthdays.
No.
And it has to be the right icing, not that whipped cream kind of icing. It has to be the buttercream. Right? And you get the rose when it's your birthday. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So we're going to talk about, although I have to say, because she's on here, I have to say, one of my very favorite birthday cakes, because my mama is amazing. My mother made me a checkerboard cake. It was green and white. I mean, and how she did it. I mean, she was like fold and foil and all this, but it was literally a checkerboard cake. And you cut it open, you saw the check, because I love her. She was amazing. So that homemade cake was awesome. That was awesome because my mama knows how to make a cake. So show up, come see me on Fireside. Who knows what it's going to turn out to be? These women are really cool. So you will see a different group of women for the next 5 weeks. And then I don't know where the show's going to go. Well, I'm going to have some interesting guests on there. We're going to talk about some stuff just like we do here. It's going to be real. It's going to be honest. You will be able to engage, send in your questions, be a part of the audience, ask your questions in the audience. So you'll be able to engage directly and live. It's called the Rutledge Perspective Live Conversation. So firesidechat.com/Laurel Rutledge. Get on there, set your profile up, follow me so you get the alerts, and see who else is out there. So I think that's it.
You want to give some of your
shout outs.
Global shout outs. We got Jamaica.
Oh, Jamaica.
Hit us to come. We got Iran is in the house, Brazil, Australia,
awesome.
Grenada, France,
yay,
Germany, Mexico, Finland.
Oh, love it.
Berlin, Amsterdam.
Oh, Amsterdam.
The they're new.
Yeah, that's new. Jamaica's new too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dublin, San Antonio, Indianapolis, Philadelphia,
love it. Philly.
Sarasota, Florida.
That's
Chicago,
new.
Pittsburgh, Austin, Kansas City, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston.
Y'all, thank you. Y'all are so amazing. I love it. Thank you for all my global folks. Jamaica, I think this is the first time y'all been in the house for the Rutledge Perspective Radio Show. So thank you guys so much for showing up. Y'all see my little shout out on Friday because I truly do appreciate it. Everyone that comes. And globally, I mean, the Fireside thing is on iOS. So globally, it's going to be 7 p.m. Central Time on Thursdays. So if you can join, if you're up, depending on what the timing is, come on out and chit chat with us. So thank you, Mama. I am so happy to be here.
Can I ask a question before you leave, since it's your 2 years?
Yes.
What do you think, Laura Rutledge, that doing 2 years of radio has taught you?
Oh, that's a really good question. So the one thing it's taught me is the importance of showing up. Like I knew the importance of showing up, but it has made it palpable, the importance of showing up all the time. Because we were here every week during the pandemic, even the importance of showing up. The second thing it's taught me is vulnerability is so much more powerful than perfection. So my experience is real. My expertise is real, but I'm also real. And so me showing up, being really honest and vulnerable with you guys, like talking about the fact that I've been in therapy forever. I love my therapist, right? I wouldn't be here without that. Talking about the things where I have failed, the things that I have learned, being able to be vulnerable is powerful, right? And then finally, just like having fun. It is, and responding and talking about Pete when he's riding by with his phone, right? I mean, just it's live radio and not taking it too seriously. Not taking it too seriously and not taking myself too seriously. And it took me a minute because I was so scared in the beginning. Like I still take notes, right? I take notes because that's just who I am. But man, I had like everything written out. Now it's like, oh, this is what I want to talk about. So that's what I've learned in these 2 years.
Do you think it would seem strange to you to have to go by a booklet of notes now because you are led now to do your show?
Yeah, it would be difficult. I mean, there are times though that I get nervous because I'm like, ooh, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? But every single time something happens, I read something, I see something, I hear something, like, that's it. That's the message I'm supposed to be talking about today. Every single time. Every single time. That's the other reason I know I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Well, you talked about purpose, and I remember someone saying, well, Jerry, you could be at this station or at that station. I said, no, I couldn't, because at that station, I could not do what I do with ministry as I have here. What do you believe that is the key thing that you get to do being Laura Rutledge on your own and where God has you now?
You know, it's so funny that you talk about that, because literally this morning I was picturing us sitting here. For some reason I was sitting, I wasn't standing. I was in the studio at year 5 and thinking and having had the conversation with somebody about, you know, a different station or a different show. And I'm like, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, I can see celebrating 20 years at KCOH. I mean, I literally, amazing. You know, us sitting here chit chatting about, can you believe it's been 20 years? What we doing? You know, we're about 400 now, right? So I think what is amazing about this opportunity is, number one, it's at the historic KCOH. Yes. The highest time spent listening of urban stations in the nation. Mm-hmm. Little old me, who didn't know nothing about radio. Nothing about radio. 2, it's in Third Ward. Mm-hmm. It's in Third Ward. And 3, I was able to come and show up and do a show with a producer who already had a following, and show up in a way that enabled me to connect with her audience so that I could begin to build mine. That I could stand in, and she trusted me, that Jerry trusted me to stand in and be who I am, mm-hmm. right? And honest about who I am, but to bring value that would not only bring value to me, but also bring value to the station, mm-hmm. and bring value to Jerry as a producer, right? And so we're all connected. That's good. We're all connected. I don't do this on my own.
Do you know why you don't like the word manifest?
I think because y'all know I love words. I think the biggest piece of that word manifest is I think it's overused. Mm-hmm. And many people use manifest as, I'm just going to manifest it, right? There's like no work and no intent behind it. It's just, it's kind of like that hustle and grind. Like people beat people up because, well, you don't have it because your hustle wasn't bad enough. Your hustle wasn't hard enough. I trust her hustle, right? Like if you're not killing yourself, you're not working hard enough. And that's just not real or reasonable. Yeah. And so I think that for me, that's how has manifested mm-hmm. in the way we talk about it, is this burden and this judgment. And so that's why I try not to use that. I just try to be intentional and prayerful and thoughtful, right? With my intercessions.
Well, when you said that, because that's what came to me, because I never liked the word manifest. Mm-hmm. I manifested that we don't manifest anything. Right. What we do is we be prayerful and yes. thoughtful, yes. and we're led. Yes. And as you go, as you say it, what you need, God, Jesus, the universe, whatever you call him, I call him God, and right. Jesus. Yeah. Okay, will bring what you need yes. to you. And so as you took the opportunity to be on KCOH, the historic yes. KCOH, yes. God led your steps to go from here to there, to there, yes. to there, and there. And I just believe that, as you said at the end of this show, that made you here 2 years.
2 years.
You were prayerful, obedient, yes. yep. and every time God put something in your spirit to do, yes. he's going to bring the provision absolutely. For you in order to do it.
Absolutely.
So we congratulate you. You have been nothing but a pain. No, a joy. You've been a joy. Did I say that out loud?
You said that out loud.
No, I'm just kidding. You have been a pure joy.
And didn't bring me a cake or nothing.
You know what? I really was planning on doing it, but somehow.
Right.
We'll make it up for you.
We'll make it up. We'll make it up.
I really was, and I said, she don't need cake though. She exercised.
Right.
So you messed yourself up. You messed yourself up.
But it's Fat Tuesday, man. It's Fat Tuesday. I'm gonna have to go find a pancake somewhere. Y'all, thank you. Thank you for being a part of the Rutledge Perspective. I am beyond grateful and so excited to have been here with you. Thank you, Michelle. I received that. I received that. Thank y'all for being here. We will catch you next week. We'll be back here, Lord willing. And catch me on Fireside Thursdays, starting this Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time. That's 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. on Eastern. So I'll see you then. Bye, everybody.